Hey, what's up guys? My name is Nick, and today I'm going to be doing some preparation for autocross tomorrow on my 2008 Mazdaspeed 3. I've already done a few things like cleaning up the car, things on the floor, checked my oil, coolant, checked over my boost tubes and whatnot. I have my tires loaded up in here already for tomorrow. The tires I have on it now are illegal, and they're also pretty much worn out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get those swapped out tomorrow with some RE71Rs. Some other things I gotta do today are I'm gonna swap out the front spacers from 10 mil to 5 mil spacers. I'm also going to just check over all the suspension components in the front of the car just to make sure nothing's broken or loose. Yesterday I went over the rear and I found a sway bar end link that had come loose at some point after I installed my rear sway bar. I just got my access port mounted today using a hair tie, so if you need a really cheap solution for mounting your access port, you're welcome. Another thing I was going to do today was to put this little reverse lockout plate that goes right here, and it's supposed to aid in getting into first and second gear, but I don't think I'm going to put it in, at least not yet. My plastic doesn't really seem to have much of a groove in it yet, even after 100,000 miles. So pretty impressive plastic. Alright, now I'm pretty much all wrapped up on the interior of the car. My shifter's all put back together, and I'm done messing around in here. Time to get to the more important stuff and going over my front suspension. So cue up that time lapse. So I just got done poking around all my suspension stuff, and the only things I could really find are this little bolt right here. It's for the strut on the driver's side. You can see the ring around that nut. When I installed it, apparently I shifted it outside of that little ring somehow. So all I did was loosen it up and pushed it back over into where you can clearly see it. It had been resting for a long time. And other than that, the only thing I can really see is down here. You can see my front sway bar bushings right there. Let's see if I can point at it. Right here. That's the bushing right there. And if I move the sway bar, you probably can't see it very well. Yeah, you can't really see it very well on camera, but I can see that the bushing seems to be a little bit worn out. So I'm not sure what kind of issues that would cause, but looks like it's time for a sway bar upgrade. Alright guys, just got everything all wrapped back up, and I took it for a quick drive around the block just to get the suspension settled back down to keep it from looking like a monster truck, which it still does look like a monster truck, but it's just because the suspension I have is not that low. It's only like a 1-inch drop. The suspension that I had on it before was a Megan Racing suspension, and it was just way too stiff, and it was pretty worn out too. So I went ahead and swapped out for Cork Sports, but they're not adjustable, which is pretty annoying, but I got them for free, so I can't complain too much. So the only thing I ended up changing today was I swapped out 10 mil spacers on the front wheels with 5 mil spacers, and just enough to clear this caliper here. the RPF ones would hit them without the spacers. So I thought I would need a 10 mil, but it turns out I only need 5 mil, which is pretty nice. And I'm not sure if just swapping to a 10 mil is makes it better, but it seems to drive better. There's less wheel hop and the steering doesn't seem so sloppy now, but I'm not sure. Only time will tell, I suppose. And the other thing I did was I moved over this strut mount, or the bolt for the strut that I showed you earlier. I moved it over, and I don't know if those two things made that much of a difference, but we will see tomorrow. And I have to say that 5 mils look way better up front than the 10 mils did. Before, they were sticking out. They looked like they were sticking out way past the fender, but now they're pretty flush. Yeah, I like it a lot better. And I actually have a rolled fenders in the rear. This one came out a little bit weird, a little bit wavy. You can see this was the very first one I've ever did, and yeah, it didn't come out the best, but it wasn't that bad. And then the driver's side one came out way better though. It's pretty much perfect. Like no waviness at all. It's just rolled. I'd say the only mistake I really made with rolling the fenders was I rolled them a little bit too much for the wheel. So now you can see the fender sticks out way farther than the wheel, but it still rubs. It still rubs right here in this crack of the seam. I'm gonna have to trim. See, I couldn't get it to roll anymore right here, so I'm gonna have to trim this bumper, the plastic a little bit, and probably the actual fender. I'm gonna have to touch it up with the white paint pen or whatever. These are my new tires that I'm switching to. The old ones are RS3s, and they're 140 tread wear, which is illegal for autocross, and they're pretty much worn out anyway. But I got them for free when I got the wheels. These RPF ones came with tires on them, and he didn't increase the price any for these RS3s. So I've just been running them. But they're pretty much dead, and they're just not very sticky anymore. They're pretty much worn out. And these, they feel so much better, this new rubber. And then these are 200 tread wear, which is the legal limit for autocross. The specs on these wheels are RPF 1 17x9 plus 45 offset, and they are wrapped in 245 40 17 tires, and of course these are the same size as those ones. Could put a 255 on there, but there's really just no point. And I decided to go with a 17-inch wheel because the tires for 17 inches are cheaper than going 18-inch. You know, like $20 to $30 per wheel, per tire. You know, that'll add up after a while. So yeah, definitely happy with my 17-inch wheels. Well, that's pretty much all I have planned for today. So I guess the plan is to just go to Autocross tomorrow and not worry about anything, and order a front sway bar, and that'll be an install video for later. But other than that, don't really have anything planned for the cars right now. I can make a video about a full mod list for this car and also that car as well. Yeah, got 2 Mazdaspeeds, so it'd be cool, like street speed and have 2 ZR1s. Well, got 2 speeds. No, that's not cool. Oh, well, what about 3 speeds? Yeah, got 1, 2, 3. Still not cool? Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Stay tuned. Got a lot more stuff to do to these cars, both of them. The third one is actually just a parts car, so there's not really any more plan for that besides tearing it apart, selling it, using it, abusing it. Yeah, pretty much it. Take care.